Wow, this is crazy.
I know. I feel like I need the It's Been a Minute NPR theme music.
It has been almost 4 months.
Several months.
Yep.
Yeah. So we are shaking the dust off, oiling our
Truly.
joints, stretching. What else does one do after they've been not part of the land of the living for an entire third of a year?
Big stretch.
Big yawn, big stretch coming out of our hibernation caves of sorts. What might you call it? But yeah, for those who missed it, who don't follow me or us on Instagram, we lost one Joe Rosenthal. My dad very suddenly died in October. And if you are a longtime listener of this podcast, you know that we are dad girls through and through. The last episode on our feed, I think, was a witchy Halloween book that was very silly. So, but yeah, it was very sudden. It was not super expected at all, and very quickly had to kind of drop everything and go back to my hometown with my husband and my sister and everybody, and was there for a week kind of handling everything. And yeah, I have joined the Dead Dad Club. It is not fun, but it is full of really great people, and I'm very grateful to everyone who ever reached out, for everyone who ever stepped up in all of this. I remember that morning calling Katey like immediately after, and just her immediately like coming over and helping me pack and just immediately taking care of the dogs. And special shout out to Monica and Sydney and Kiara for holding down the fort and taking care of our dogs. And just this isn't meant to be like my Oscar speech, but it's like, I would like be remiss to say that the way that everyone has shown up for me in the past few months has made the hardest period of my life by far a lot easier. And longtime listeners will also know I've been through some shit. So this past year. So I kind of lost two parents last year. One fled the country for being a felon. I think that's the first time I said it out loud on this podcast, but like, who cares at this point?
Yep.
And then the one I wanted to stick around. So
Crazy.
also, if you know me at all, then you kind of know my dad, because my dad and I had an incredibly similar sense of humor, and we have been honoring him and remembering him in the best, most silly ways we possibly can. And that feels good. And I know that he is watching us and is like giggling to himself.
Yeah, you and your sister have been properly weird throughout this process.
We were weird before, and then we got even weirder.
True.
We'll remain that way. We had a funeral at the motorcycle track, and it was amazing. And yeah, I don't know. I've said countless weird things and acted in countless weird ways since, but everyone has been wildly understanding and loving, and also met me with the same amount of, well, maybe not always, but has humored me in all of this too. So, but yeah, so I'm okay. I mean, as okay as I can be, and my family is doing as okay as we can. There is always, I'm going to miss my dad every single day of my life. We were incredibly close, and I'm just, you know, it won't be the last thing I say, but like the main thing is I am infinitely grateful that my dad and I had a relationship that was open, and I know that how much he loved me and how proud he was of me.
Well, and I'll also say, I don't know how many of these messages that Abigail saw in the days following what happened and us posting about it on the 50% Instagram, because we wanted you guys to know where we were. But I don't know how many of these messages that I checked that you may or may not have seen, Abigail, but we got we got a ton of really lovely messages, you know, both from people we know well and people we don't know at all, which is really lovely. And I mean, it even made me feel better. So I hope that it made you feel good to hear from folks, including total strangers who listen to us talk about this shit, which is
I know.
crazy.
It is crazy, and it's was really I think I saw all of them. Maybe it's all a blur, like,
Yeah.
honestly, still, but every single one from anybody, whether I knew them well or did not, has meant so much to me, especially, like, from people who have also gone through this. I unfortunately, like, was the first in my friend group, and it's a weird experience also being the youngest in my friend group and kind of going through this, and there's not really a guidebook, and you don't really know what you're going to do until it happens to you, and you just kind of have to learn to lean on people and accept help and also ask for help. And yeah, just I feel like such a different person since it happened in a lot of ways, but also it's kind of ripped me open in a really beautiful way and made me more emotional in a good way, I think, and more able to say how I'm feeling and just even randomly voicing throughout the day. Like, I miss my dad, and I've kind of from the beginning, I was like, I don't want to ever hide that stuff. I'm just gonna, if it makes people feel weird, then like that's their business kind of thing. Like, my dad, to me, you know, or just, it felt important to me to act on all of those things and remember him and say those things out loud. And if, you know, that was just for me. That was how I reacted and am still reacting, I should say. But yeah, I'm also incredibly grateful. I have so many good memories with my dad of him being so weird. A new one I learned today from I'm actually at my dad's house. I was here for like a reporting thing. So Katie and I are going to start recording together, but of course, like our first one back, we weren't able to because I had to go out of town, but it's
Yeah,
fine.
go figure.
Yeah, but I'm here at my dad's house, and my stepmom and I just went out to dinner, and I learned my dad messaged Post Malone multiple times to invite him over to drink a beer, and that he and Allison would call him their adopted son. They just really liked Post Malone as a person. And dad would message Post Malone to ask him to come hang out. So he never replied, but Post Malone, if you're listening, I'll have a beer with you in Joe's honor.
That is both surprising and the most Joe thing I've ever heard.
Right. Like, I remember when Post Malone first started coming up, and he's from North Texas, which is where I'm from. And my dad was like, he looks like he smells. And I'm like, yeah. And then slowly it was like, he seems kind of like a cool guy.
I'd drink a beer with that guy.
Yeah. And now it's their adopted son, Post Malone. So,
Sure.
you know,
Sure.
there's like infinite weird Joe stories, and I'm sure I will bring them up on this podcast.
Yep.
Yeah, if you know me at all, you know my dad. I think Tess, friend in real life, friend of the pod, at one point, I was like, I think I saw her right after, and it was like my dad was a pretty weird guy and like had a weird sense of humor, and that's kind of like how Hannah and I are dealing with this. And she goes, well, yeah, I know you, and like that makes a lot of sense. And I was like, yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, so, but yeah, you know, I'm doing okay. It's a journey. And yeah, if anyone else ever needs to like talk about being in the dad club, I'm around. Just gave a thumbs up. You didn't see it, but it was there. So anyway, Katie, do you have any major life updates you would like to share?
Not really, man. I was on Abigail duty for a good minute there, and then I got really fucking depressed actually. So that was cool and fun. For reasons I'm still not entirely sure about, but I was feeling real low for a good 2 months or so. So it was actually sort of good that we took a break from doing this because I was not a person for a second. Um, but I'm doing pretty good now. One of my I was just at happy hour with a couple of my coworkers, and I found out that I thought so the carport at my apartment complex collapsed on my car. Yes, it's hilarious. Whatever.
It is funny.
I don't fucking care
It's
at this
okay.
point. It's absurd. It's fine. My car's in the shop. I thought I was going to get to pick it up today cuz that's what the little like app thing said for when it was going to be ready. And then I found out that it's not going to be ready until Monday at the earliest. My coworkers were like, one of my coworkers was like, "Katie, we feel like you're really kind of going through it lately." And I was like, "Dude, this is so chill."
This is, for context, it was during the ice storm that the cardboard collapsed onto Katie's car.
Yeah.
And we were all like, wow, this ice storm really came at a good time where I can't leave the house and just have to sit and take a nap and
And then it
do it.
turned out I couldn't leave the house.
Yeah, then you just couldn't leave.
Yeah, it was, and then I had like a rough couple of weeks, and my coworkers were like, "You're like really going through it." And I was like, "This is nothing, you guys."
Nah, man, we keep rolling with the punches. There's always worse. Everything's
Yeah, I was like, "Listen, with the past like year and a half, 2 years that I've had, my car being a little fucked up, whatever, man. Like,
yeah, it's not totaled. Chill.
yeah,
So
it's getting
yeah,
fixed. I
it's
gotta pay
it's
my deductible.
still got a car, still
It's fine.
alive. What else? What more do we need?
I'm really
It's
not that pressed about it. It's annoying. That's about the extent of it. I'm
yeah.
driving a little fucking Hot Wheels.
Longtime
I've got a
listeners will also,
Mitsubishi Mirage.
yeah, longtime listeners will remember my crappy car, and it reminds me of my crappy car. It is better than my crappy car was.
Um, anyway, so we don't have a book that we were gonna talk about today, but we did both want to talk about books that we read while we were not recording, and then pick our first book in a minute. I'm looking back through my story graph, and the first book that I read during our hiatus that I feel strongly enough to chat about is one that I recommended to you, which is a Christmas book, but we can take this opportunity to talk about your grief reading series.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, which I read this Christmas book, which I think I can't remember if I got it on Book of the Month or Aardvark. It was one of those. But it was Grace and Henry's Holiday Movie Marathon by Matthew Norman, which was really lovely. A really
Yep.
lovely book.
It is. You got it on Aardvark. I read it. It's actually the last book I kind of read in my. I did not read kind of in the immediate aftermath of my dad's death, and then read really like fast and furious through December, where I think I read like 5 books and then have since fallen off again. So, but I read this one on her recommendation, and it was really lovely in a way that I did not expect, and was very funny and heartwarming at parts. It was about Grace, who has 2 children and lost her husband to cancer earlier in the year, and Henry, who lost his wife to a plane crash earlier in the year. And so they're coming up on the first holiday season where they're both, grieving the loss of their spouses. And obviously, that's a different loss than I'm experiencing, but I didn't really feel up to reading things that were super cheerful. I didn't feel like reading things that also didn't touch on what I was feeling. It didn't have to be the same, but I didn't feel like being in a space that didn't acknowledge that there was grief happening, if that makes sense. It didn't have to be the same as mine. It just like, I don't know, this sounds like a little melodramatic, but it needed to acknowledge that there's grief in the world that occurs also like during the holidays. And Grace and Henry's love story of, 2 people finding each other as they're both grieving this unimaginable loss. I actually, no, I don't want to say unimaginable because I think some people have said that to me, and the stuff like does happen. Like, it is imagine it. Imagine it. It's terrible. You got it. So, but what is certainly a very difficult and heavy loss. And I loved Grace's relationship with her kids. I loved Henry's relationship with Grace's kids. They have a dog named Harry Styles. What could be better? And yeah, this was really lovely. I was really glad I picked it up on your recommendation, Katie, and I thought it was really well written too. I hadn't read this author, and it's by a dude.
I read this, I picked it up not even like really thinking about, like, I didn't read it purposefully because of what you were going through or whatever. I got this book in my aardvark box and was like, "Oh, this will be like a nice holiday romance. And then I was like, oh, this is actually like pretty appropriate. It struck a great balance between being like soft and heartfelt and funny while also genuine in a way that felt really real and not like, too in your face and sappy.
Yeah, there's this little side plot where Grace's house has this mice infestation, and Henry is trying to help her get rid of the mice, but the kids who are younger in the book, I think like one is in sixth grade and one's in like fourth grade, something like that, like obviously don't want him to kill the mice. And I thought that was a really interesting and kind way to show how your grief can manifest in these really like weird and illogical ways, like where Henry in like doing this is taking away the mice and also realizes he can't kill them. And so he ends up having to basically have like pet mice for a few months until he can release them in the wild when it's not cold, because the book takes place in Baltimore where it actually gets cold. And yeah, I just, that little side plot really kind of struck me in the illogical but completely logical ways that grief can kind of hit you, and suddenly you have an aquarium of mice in your house. One of the funniest scenes in the book is when he goes to the pet store and is trying to give them the mice, and the guy, like in quotes, is like, "We don't like take donations." And so like it was, yeah, it was like a good like lighthearted grief book in a way, but one that really made me feel understood, even though it was a very different kind of grief than I was
Yeah.
going. So yeah, that I actually ended up finishing that one in later January. I also didn't think it was like too in your face holiday. Like,
No, it wasn't heavy handed with anything, which I think was what was so lovely about it. Anyway, the next book I read, which is not a book that you read, but it is a cultural moment, which is Heated Rivalry,
boy oh boy.
which Abigail
We
got Heated Rivalry pilled a little late, but she made it.
I did make it. There was a period of December I didn't want to watch anything like happy. Heated Rivalry ended up not being like that happy, to be
Right.
honest, but boy oh boy, I watched it in January. Man, it rocked. It was awesome. It
It's
was so good.
excellent. It's very excellent. The book's kind of mid, in my opinion. I just finished reading the first one. Well, I read the second one. So I read Heated Rivalry before I watched the show
Mm-hmm.
because, as the people know, I feel strongly about reading the book before watching the thing. Um, so I read the second book in the series first. Then, just now, I finished listening to the audiobook for the first book. I fucking hated that book.
Wait,
Hated it.
for you hated Game Changers?
Yeah, the Scott and Kip book. I hated it.
Ooh,
I
interesting.
hated
Okay.
it.
I All right. I was going to ask like difference between book
I
TV
hated them both as
reactions.
characters, both as people. I fucking hate them.
Ooh, interesting, cuz I loved the Scott and Kip
I really did too.
episodes.
I loved it in the show. In
That's
the
so
book,
interesting.
Scott is selfish and self absorbed, and Kip is immature and insecure in a way that makes me insane.
Shout out to Jacob Tierney for improving upon the
Literally,
source material from Rachel Reed.
I was texting our friend Lindsay, who introduced us to Heated Rivalry, and we were both like, A, how did this book become a series? B, if I had read this before anything else, I would not have consumed any of the Heated Rivalry media whatsoever.
Wow, thank goodness for that then.
Yeah.
Dang.
And I don't think I'm
Well,
going to read any more of the books.
is it the writing quality or
No,
just
it's the
the
characters. I hate
characters?
those people.
Okay. Like,
It's not even that
like,
they're poorly written.
if you also read the Heated Rivalry books, let us know what you thought. But
It made
I
me
thought it
crazy,
was,
dude.
yeah.
I was like, these people should not be, not just in a relationship with each other, but in any relationship. They need
Well,
therapy.
wait, so even like Ilya and Shane, they also are terrible people in the book?
No, they were
Or
fine.
just
I'm
game
just talking about
Oh, okay.
in Scott and Kip. I'm talking about Scott and Kip specifically.
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, all right,
Well,
all right.
Heated
Good to
Rivalry
know.
book was fine. It was fine.
Okay. All right, so skip Game Changers. Heated Rivalry is fine.
Yeah. And I'm not going to
Basically.
read the rest. You couldn't force me to.
Fair enough.
I'm not
But
interested.
we will be attending a Heated Rivalry rave at the end of the month.
We will.
So we'll report back. We're excited. I think it'll be fun. I aim to be as culturally relevant as the soundtrack person who decided to put My Moon, My Man in that show because,
Honestly.
my God, what, well, best like TV soundtrack I think has existed in a while. Like really like great on the nose needle drops. You know? I was very impressed, and of course all the things she said remix.
Yeah.
And also the 2 original songs. I've been listening to like the Heated Rivalry theme when I really need to lock in at the gym.
It's pretty
So,
good. It's pretty good.
It's not bad. Yeah, you know, it kind of helps. So, yeah.
All right. Scrolling back through my story graph, I also read The Heartbreak Hotel by Eleanor Clover, which we talked about wanting to read on this pod.
That is one of the few that I finished also. I completely forgot I read that one.
It was nice.
I think did I even start it before my dad passed?
You did.
No, I did it. Did I?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It took me like a month to read it then.
Yeah,
And
you started it while we were still doing the podcast. I remember you talked about it.
You're right. Yeah. Well, I eventually finished it, and I did enjoy it.
It was lovely. It
was
dragged
nice.
a bit for me toward the end, but
yeah, I agree with you there. I think I also said on the podcast that I didn't really buy the romance too much. At points, the age gap was too, not even like from a numerical standpoint, but from a maturity standpoint, was a little too distinct for me of like, yeah, why is this man interested in this 26-year-old who kind of thinks she can run a bed and breakfast with no managerial hotel experience. I also was like, how did this woman and her boyfriend afford or even maintain a 6-bedroom house? Like, they kind of explain it, but it doesn't matter.
And that's a very suspend your disbelief book.
Yes. And yeah, parts of it were very lovely. Some parts were very odd. There was kind of a twist in it I thought was kind of strange, but I don't want to spoil it. Yeah, it was fun, and I loved the setting of Colorado.
Agreed.
And it was a really nice autumnal book. It was like a good autumnal moving into winter book because I think it like covered like Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas, and so it was a great like latter half of the year book and was very cozy in a lot of ways. And yeah, I thought it was lovely. I did like the writing. I thought it was good. And yeah, so I would do another one of her books for sure.
And then we both, I think, reread People We Meet on Vacation.
Yes, we did do that. And we watched the movie, of course. We initially intended to come back to this podcast with talking about the movie, but we've had to work out some kinks.
It's fine. Anyway, we watched the movie. We liked the movie. We reread the book. We liked the book. I think of them as separate entities.
I do too. There are a lot of changes from the book to the movie. Settings-wise is a major one, of course. The kind of like big lie that Poppy tells in the book is not really what happens in the movie.
Yeah.
Like where she
why they're
is
on the
telling,
trip.
Yeah, why they're on a trip. Like that isn't really the same. Beautiful gowns in the movie.
Truly.
But no, I don't really. I'm with you there. They're like spiritually cousins.
Yeah.
In my mind, and
I think of them as separate pieces of media inspired by the same story.
Yes, I did really like what's his face, Tom Blythe.
Yeah.
Who other credits include the Hunger Games movie where everyone was obsessed with him because he was hot but evil.
Yeah.
So Emily Bader, is that her name? I should have double checked.
Yeah,
she was great.
Yeah.
I thought it was good. I thought it was lovely.
Fun.
It's a solid rom-com. It has not overtaken Set It Up as my favorite Netflix rom-com. Well, it could, truly. And but we enjoyed it, and I was reminded how much I do enjoy the book. And
same.
Austin's sister gave me a good review of the movie where she was like, the movie misses out on a lot of the yearning that's in the book.
Yes.
Which is hard to get onto screen. So I'm not really like faulting them. I think it was incredibly ambitious to make this the first Emily Henry adaptation because you have so many timelines you're working with
And
within
there's just,
their.
I mean, there's so much subtext in any Emily Henry book, but I feel like this one is a lot of subtext.
Yes. So I look forward to Netflix's other forays into the Emily Henry extended universe. I think this one was solid and also looked really beautiful. Like it was really beautifully shot. The colors
Mhm.
were really like it was just like a nice to look at
Yeah.
movie.
We watched
Yeah.
it with a handful of girls and like a little girls' night at my place, which I think was the perfect environment for watching it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I fully agree. So, have you watched it again since?
I haven't. I want to though, because I wanted to watch the movie and then reread the book and then watch the movie again, and I haven't
Mm,
closed the loop.
yes.
Yeah,
But
I'd
yeah,
like to
good.
save it. I'll save it for a rainy day.
Yeah, that it was
Yeah,
very good for that.
I would like to put out a couple of other books that I have read in January mostly. I read a Sarah Adams book, the final book in the Rome, Kentucky series, which was quite
Mm.
fun, called In Your Dreams. It was really lovely. Um, also read a Jodi McAllister book
Oh,
called An Academic Affair that was about two academics that enter into a fake marriage so that one of them can get a job at the university that the other person has applied for. It's like a spousal hire. That was fun.
sure.
I read a Tia Williams, a love song for Ricky Wilde, which has a little magic in it, which the people know I like. And then a curveball, which I don't know if you would like this book if you read it, but I had to turn my brain off for it and then I
Mm.
enjoyed it. Still Into You by Erin Connor, which the main character is a journalist who works for alternative press who is doing a story about this like metal band um who famously has not done interviews, but she used to date the lead singer. So he agrees to do an interview with her and then they fall back in love and it's drama, drama, drama. I do think you would hate it, Abigail, but I had fun.
Fair enough.
I don't
I'm
think
a,
you would be able to remove it from reality enough to end it. But as we know, I have a special skill in disassociating these books from reality. So
yeah. I appreciate that. I did. Everyone should be proud of me. I protected my peace for January book of the month because there was one about a journalist who goes undercover on like a bachelor type show, and I was like, nope, don't do it. You're gonna get mad. You're gonna get mad, and I didn't. So I
yeah,
think I skipped the month instead.
I think I did
So
too.
yeah, I
Also, not romance related, but I finished this book yesterday and would like to say that Half His Age by Jeanette McCurdy was crazy.
okay. Was it good?
Yes.
Okay, I've
It was
heard
just
kind of
wild
mixed
and
reviews.
disturbing in a way that I feel like she's really good at writing. Like, she's good at writing in a way that makes you uncomfortable on purpose because that is the point.
Right.
Like, in the
Yeah.
book, it's fiction, and a 17-year-old falls in love with her teacher and, like, begins a relationship with him.
Right.
It's very uncomfortable on purpose. Um, it's upsetting, but it's very good.
So in my Fast and Furious holiday reading, I did like actually what kicked it off was what's the Snowed In by Catherine Walsh, the sequel to A Holiday Romance.
Which I finally
Not
read.
about grief. Yes. Oh yes. Katie finally read A Holiday Romance. Yeah, Snowed In. I also really enjoyed, except there was this funny thing where I was like 2/3 of the way through the book, and I was like, why is this called Snowed In? No one's gotten snowed in yet. They finally like do like toward the end. So,
Yeah.
but really, it's like a cozy like home for the holidays, fake dating, and I enjoyed it. It was I read it in like 3 days, which for me is really fast, and that was a good escapism
Yeah.
kind of like. It wasn't too silly. I think is like what my tolerance was really low for was like silliness. And we love a silly, but I did not have the bandwidth for a silly.
I like her
And
writing a
yeah.
lot. I'm actually reading her latest book right now. It's called How to Write a Love Story. It's not a Christmas.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, that's right. I have that one on my list.
Yeah, it comes
Oh,
out
okay.
in March. It's quite enjoyable. I'm moving slowly through it, which I think is more of a me thing than a book thing.
Okay. Yeah, I really enjoy her writing. I think she's a really good writer, and I think she's also very good at sense of place and character. So,
Yeah.
but also in my this was a truly insane thing that I read. I read A Home for the Holidays by Taylor Hahn, which is about a woman whose mother dies like 3 weeks before Christmas. And
Didn't Taylor Hahn
her,
write the Swingers book?
yes. So this was
All
a
right.
real like about face. And it was really short too. It was like under 300 pages, and it was a book of the month add-on because I did get my December book of the month, which I don't remember what I actually got properly, but I added this one into my box. It's about a wedding singer whose mother dies like right before Christmas, and she's got a complicated relationship with her mom, and her mom's long lost best friend shows up and is basically like, "You're coming home with me." So it's like, but she kind of takes her in for the holidays because she doesn't have any other family in the area. And there's like a little bit of zaniness. The ending for me was incredibly rushed, but I would still recommend it with that caveat because it was like short enough that I can't be like, oh, it's a waste of your time because it's
Sure.
like, I don't know, 270 pages, and I liked a lot of other parts of it. And yeah, like I kind of said previously, it acknowledged a similar grief to what I was having, loss of a parent, obviously, but a very different parent child relationship than I had. And I thought it was well written, but yeah, the structure needed some work for me. But I'd pick up another, maybe not the, I don't know, maybe I'd pick up the Swingers one. It actually looked kind of like saucy in a fun way. So, but I haven't read it.
Yeah, I'm
Have
not
you read it?
no. I think I got a copy of it, but it's I don't who knows.
But yeah, so those are my highlights because those are like the only books I read. But
Are you reading
I'm.
anything right now?
I am about to start Girl Dinner, I think, because Katie read this one,
This one was
and
crazy, dude.
yeah, I took myself to Barnes and Noble one day, and I was like flipping through. It was when I started reading the one about the podcast by Lisa Jewell, where it's
Yeah.
like, oh, I own it, I won't buy it, and then I went home and I couldn't find it, but I've since obtained a copy. And anyway, I started flipping through Girl Dinner at Barnes and Noble, and I was like, okay, this looks really fun, but I don't really know if I can do this right now. Katie read it, said it was crazy, and I'm about to start that. And so,
Our
yeah,
friend Michaela just started reading it yesterday.
mini book club. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll have to text her. On that note, would you like to announce our next book?
Yes, I would like to. So in the vein of Heated Rivalry, but not Heated Rivalry, and also it's the Olympics, we are going to read Skate It Till You Make It, which is a terrible title.
I agree.
That's okay. It is still wintry, a wintry book because it is winter in some places, not here. I sat outside at a picnic table in short sleeves at happy hour today, and I'm thrilled about it. Our girl that we love at the New York Times enjoyed this book, and Sophie Sullivan, who I like, blurbed it. Um, and so I will read the blurb with the caveat that I am going to butcher these last names.
Yes. Sorry.
So we're just gonna do it, and I apologize. So this is Skate It Till You Make It by Rufaro Faith Mazarura is what I'm going with for the author's name pronunciation. Ari Shumba never expected to make it to the Winter Games, let alone be the one to lead Great Britain's women's ice hockey team through the most important competition of their lives. When her teammate's unexpected injury catapults her to the role of captain, Ari reluctantly shoulders the responsibility while trying to navigate family drama and dodge her toxic ex. Drew Dlamini has always feared taking risks. After breaking up with his girlfriend and dropping out of college to handle a family crisis, he's desperate for a fresh start. When he finds himself in London for the holidays, he rekindles his dream of becoming a professional photographer. When Ari and Drew meet at a New Year's Eve party, neither of them is looking for love. Though their chemistry is instant, they live on opposite sides of the Atlantic, so they spend the night revealing their glaring red flags, thinking they'll never see each other again. But when they unexpectedly cross paths in the snowy Swiss Alps 2 months later, their feelings for each other rise to the surface. As the competition heats up, the combination of complicated exes, over-involved families, and stress-inducing teammates convinces them that the perfect solution to their problems is to fake date their way through the games. After all, no risk of falling in love if it's doomed from the start, right? Fun.
Wait, well, never mind. I was going to start humming My Moon, My Man, but I knew that was not going to come across, so I'm going to quit.
It's not a
now,
gay hockey. Unfortunately, it's a
not gay
hockey.
But doomed from the start.
We love a fake date.
The Olympics will be over by the time that you guys listen to this episode, but it'll still be thematic.
Yes.
Yeah, it's fine. It's still going to work. It's great. I'm excited for this one. I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be like enough silly that I can dip my toe back into silly.
Yes.
And not be overwhelmed by it. So
I want to know who this girl's toxic ex is at the Olympics. I'm interested.
I think I saw another blurb, or maybe it was in the New York Times thing where it was like another Olympian.
That's what I'm hoping for. I want weird Olympic Village shit.
Yeah, dude, I'm obsessed with like weird Olympic Village lore, truly. This also feels thematic with that guy, that skier, snowboarder, whatever, who admitted he was cheating on his girlfriend on his post. Like, and then she was like, I already told him what I think about this, and basically was like, he's a fucking loser. So
I have not been able to give this the attention it deserves because I've been so busy at work, and I need to dive in. I'm going to do that after this. I need brain rot after this. I'm going to watch Real Housewives and poison
Read
my
about
brain.
that.
And make a Negroni.
Oh, good plan. I'm
That's
gonna
what
have
I'm
some ice
gonna
cream after this.
Ooh.
See. We're also watching Traitors, so if anyone wants to talk about that too.
The best fucking show on television, you guys.
Dude, it's it's so good. But on that note,
anyway, we're glad to be back. We'll be back in 2 weeks with Skate It Till You Make It. Mav has been biting the fuck out of me for the past 15 minutes. I don't know if you've been able to see me barely containing my rage, but my left hand is down by him where he is gnawing on me. So I'm going to go and I'm going to throw this little dinosaur for this little monster dog who is the love of my life, but I will kill him.
Tiny, tiny monster. Tiny fighter.
Tiny fighter, truly.
Not
anyway,
derogatory.
Again, yeah, derogatory. Ow, motherfucker. Okay, I gotta go. I'm gonna kill my dog. I gotta go.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.